Vipin couldn't sleep at all that night. After fully feeling the effects of the spiritual liquid, he headed to the mountain near the village to test his newfound powers. Now his speed, strength, and reflexes were far better than a normal person. Earlier his body was weak and he couldn't even win a fight against an ordinary man. But now he had become so strong that he could kill someone with a single punch. After training on the mountain all night, he returned home in the morning, and after getting some sleep, he left for work. When he reached work, Anand uncle was staring at him since morning, as if he was trying to recognize him. "Hey Vipin! Why do I feel like you have become much stronger than before? And your skin color also seems fairer than before. Is it really you, or has someone else taken your form?" Anand uncle asked, confused. Vipin laughed and put his hand on his shoulder and said, "Uncle, it's me. No impersonator. I think your eyes are getting weak." Anand uncle looked at him once again and shook his head and said, "Maybe you are right, my old eyes are getting weak now." Vipin smiled lightly and then loaded the package on his three-wheeler bike and left for DLF Leisure Park. When Vipin made the delivery to Mohan Lal was also surprised to see him. He felt as if he had seen a different person. You are Vipin, right? Why do I feel as if you have changed a lot? Your skin looks more beautiful than before, and your body also looks perfect," Mohan Lal asked in confusion. With a light smile, Vipin took out a big plastic bag from his bike and handed it to Mohan Lal. "Big brother Mohan, as you said yesterday, there are a total of 16 bottles in it." Mohan Lal's eyes lit up with joy and he quickly grabbed the bag. The happiness was clearly visible on his face as he looked into the bag. "This is great! Vipin, thanks a lot!" Mohan Lal said, smiling, and held Vipin's hands tightly. 16 bottles, 6,000 rupees each, totals 90,000 rupees. I'm making it close to 1 lakh rupees. "Vipin, do you want cash or should I transfer it to your bank account?" Mohan Lal asked. "Cash will be fine," Vipin replied after thinking for a while. He knew that 1 lakh rupees would be spent very quickly in the medicinal herbs market, so it would be good to have cash in hand. "Okay, wait a minute." Mohan Lal took the bag and went inside his house. When he came back, he handed Vipin a black briefcase. Vipin opened the briefcase and saw that it contained 10 bundles of new notes. Seeing so much money, his eyes lit up with joy and his breathing became faster. Controlling his emotions, he said to Mohan Lal, "Thank you, brother." "Hey, what do you mean I should thank you? Remember, if you have more such bottles in the future, give it to me first." Mohan Lal smiled and patted Vipin's shoulders. "Okay, big brother, I will remember what you said." "Oh, wait a minute, big brother. I have brought something else too." "I don't know if you will like this or not," said Vipin. "Oh, what is that?" Mr. Mohan was now curious to see that thing. Vipin opened his bag and took out a small bottle from inside. He coughed slightly, then lowered his voice and said mysteriously, "Brother Mohan, this thing can strengthen your manhood." Mr. Mohan's eyes lit up and he smiled lewdly and said, "Really?" Vipin replied, "Yes, it is a harmless natural herbal medicine. If you don't believe me, I can guarantee that you will feel energetic after drinking it." Mohan Lal believed Vipin, especially because he had already seen that he had lost 10 kilos in a day due to Vipin's miracle tea. Perhaps this too is a powerful potion like that. Mohan Lal's eyes were filled with curiosity as he looked at the bottle. Okay, I'll try it right now," Mohan Lal said. "Right now?" Vipin asked in surprise. "Yes, right now," Mohan Lal said confidently. He then took the bottle from Vipin's hand, opened the lid, and started drinking the potion. "Hey, wait!" Vipin tried to stop, but it was too late. Mohan Lal had almost emptied half the bottle in a single swig. "What happened?" Mohan Lal asked in panic. Vipin took the bottle back and said, "Big brother, I forgot to tell you that this potion is very powerful. You only need to take a few sips each time. Now that you have drunk half the bottle in a single swig, I can only console you." Mohan Lal looked at Vipin confusedly, and when he understood the gravity of the situation, his face changed. "Vipin, just a minute, I'll be back." Mohan Lal hurriedly ran inside the house as if he had been bitten by a dog. Seeing him running like this, Vipin asked, "Brother, why are you in such a hurry?" Vipin stood outside the house, speechless. After a while, strange noises started coming from the house. Despite covering his ears, he could hear those sounds clearly, as his hearing ability had also increased after absorbing the powers of the spiritual liquid. Vipin stood there for a long time, but Mr. Mohan still did not come out of the house. When he did not see him coming out, Vipin left and went to deliver the rest of the packages. 4 hours later, when he came back to Mr. Mohan's house, he rang the doorbell. After a while, Mr. Mohan opened the door. He looked a little tired, and his legs had become weak. but there was a big smile on his face. Vipin Yar, today a miracle happened. I was no less than an animal in bed, Mr. Mohan said excitedly. You take rest first, big brother, Vipin said, smiling, looking at his wobbly legs. Okay, by the way, Vipin, your medicine is amazing. Do you have more? I will buy them all, 20,000 per bottle. Mr. Mohan said, smiling. For today this will do. I will give you some more tomorrow, said Vipin, handing over a half bottle. On seeing the bottle, Mr. Mohan immediately took it from Vipin's hands. Then he went inside the house and brought 2 bundles of notes with him. Thank you, Brother Mohan. I have something else for you. This is a beauty cream for Mrs., said Vipin, taking out a small brass box from his bag, which contained the beauty cream. This beauty cream, which Vipin had prepared last night, was made for skin fairness. Applying it on the skin would remove blemishes, clean and moisturize the skin, and enhance the complexion. Excellent, said Mr. Mohan, hurriedly taking the box. After taking the cream, Mr. Mohan gave Vipin a total of 1,20,000 rupees. With that money, Vipin went straight to the medicinal market, where he bought the herbs needed for the spiritual liquid, which used up more than half of the money he had earned that day. He then bought some more herbs to make weight loss, beauty cream, and sexual potions. After buying all the herbs, his bag was full. The weight loss potion is perfect. As for the sexual potion, I have to dilute it a little more, otherwise it will have adverse effects on the person who drinks it. As for the beauty cream, I still don't know its effects, Vipin thought. The beauty cream was different from the weight loss and sexual potion. It had to be applied on the skin instead of being drunk, and all girls have different skin types. So he needed more girls to test it. But Vipin had neither a girlfriend nor any friends. This is a big problem. Where do I find girls with so many different skin tones? Vipin thought as he rode his small 3-wheeler fast on the streets. Suddenly he saw a bright signboard ahead. Paradise Spa. Vipin parked the bike in front of Paradise Spa. From outside, hot steam was seen coming out of the spa, and a fragrance spread all around. He stood in front of the spa, hesitating for a while, wondering what kind of work must be going on inside. His heart was beating fast at the thought, should I go inside and see? His heart was beating loudly. After thinking for a while, Vipin said to himself, never mind, I should not go inside. This will be very awkward. Just as he was thinking of leaving, 2 girls came out of the spa. They were wearing cheap clothes and heavy makeup. When the girls saw Vipin standing outside, their eyes lit up as soon as they saw him. Vipin was wearing simple clothes, but now his body was fit, and his face had become even more beautiful than before. The girls looked at him and said, hey handsome, come inside and have some fun with us. They waved at Vipin and winked at him. One of the girls came towards him, held his hand and pulled him inside. Oh miss, this is not right, Vipin said, blushing with embarrassment. At this moment his head was shaking like a child. Oh, don't be shy, Yar. You look even more handsome when you blush. The girl winked at Vipin again, pulling him inside the spa. Hey, I'm here to sell something, Vipin shouted in panic. A seller? Very nice. Then you must come inside, the other girl said, holding Vipin's other hand. Vipin's face had turned as red as an apple. His body became tight and he was losing control over himself. By the way, what are you selling, handsome? The girl on his left asked. Hey, I have some beauty cream, some cosmetics, Vipin said. It's free for the first-time application. Free? Yar, then I will definitely try it once, the other girl said, smiling. They entered the spa while talking. They had just entered when a loud brake sound was heard outside the spa, and then a number of men barged in one after another. Don't move! Get on the ground right now! Police! Get on your knees! As he said this, someone suddenly hit Vipin on the head. He was stunned. Oh shit, are these people going to arrest me too? Vipin panicked. He was about to turn around and run out, when more policemen barged in through the door and rounded everyone up like a herd of sheep. The 2 girls kneeling next to him started screaming in panic. Shut your mouths and sit on the ground quietly. Don't you guys understand? One of the policemen shouted at Vipin and the 2 girls kneeling next to him. Havaldar Sahab, this is not my job. I am not here for girls, Vipin said in a low, muffled voice, raising one hand. Ha, you are already here. You are not here for the girls, so have you come here to watch a play? Oh, you look so young. Wow, boy, you turned out to be a player, said a policeman, mocking him. Scoundrel, I have seen many boys like you. First they come to do this wrong thing, and when caught they say the same dialogue, said the policeman again. Havaldar Sahab, I am really innocent. Please believe me, said Vipin. Down! Stay down! The policeman raised his hand on Vipin and threw him on the floor. Being thrown on the floor, Vipin's body was on fire. A volcano of anger erupted inside him, but he could not hit a policeman in front of everyone. Attacking a police officer was a big crime, so he swallowed his anger and remained calm. "Please forgive us. Because of us you also got into trouble," said both the girls, apologizing to him. "OMG! Why am I so unlucky?" Vipin said, sighing helplessly. He felt that everything was over for him. He had no means to prove his innocence. The police raided the rest of the spa. There were shouts from all sides. Meanwhile, some people had come out of the rooms without wearing any clothes. The police threw them all on the floor. "Oh, so many people!" Vipin said in surprise on seeing naked and half-naked people coming from inside. Just then he heard the sound of footsteps coming from outside, which were now coming in. Vipin looked back to see who was coming. But as soon as he looked back, he stood still. Just then, a female officer came in from outside. She was wearing a police uniform, and her face was round. Her eyebrows were slightly thin, and her lips were attractive. Her beauty caught everyone's attention. Her complexion was white like snow, and her long hair was open, which swayed slowly as she walked. Her figure was well maintained, and her legs were long and slender, which would make any man fall in love with her. Her police dress looked fashionable and attractive. Vipin was not the only one who was watching her enter the door, but at this time all the men were staring at her. Her beauty dazzled everyone's eyes. Perhaps they had never seen such a beautiful female police officer before. "Oh, how amazing! Look at her figure," one man said to the man next to him. "If I get a chance to caress her legs, I will be her slave for the next 10 years, another man replied. At this time they were drooling. Seeing them, the lady officer's eyebrows wrinkled. She looked at them with disgust and said, "You are all dirty sewer insects, garbage." But when she saw all those people crouching on the ground, her eyes stopped on Vipin. Her eyebrows became even more stern. "What are children learning these days? Playing the games of adults at such a young age?" she said. Vipin realized that he was being falsely accused while he had not done anything wrong, yet he was being framed. "I did not do anything. I had just come here to sell something," Vipin tried to explain. "Okay, you said, and I agreed," the lady officer said, laughing. Then she went inside and started looking at everything carefully to see if anyone was left. In a short while there was silence there, and the police started taking everyone out. "Get up and start walking," a police constable shouted at all those people, including Vipin. "Havaldar Sahab, Vipin got up and tried to reason with the Havaldar. "Shut up! If you have something to say, go to the police station and give your statement," the constable shouted at Vipin. Now Vipin had no other option but to walk quietly. None of these officers were ready to listen to him. When the policeman started taking all those people out to the police station, the lady officer was standing at the door. Her face had an expression as cold as a river of ice. But this did not reduce the passion of those arrested people. Their thirsty eyes were staring at the curved body of the lady officer, and they started making noises like savage animals. "What are you guys doing? Walk quietly," a constable said, pushing them. Just then someone pushed Vipin from behind, and he came forward from among those people. When the lady officer saw him, her eyes narrowed because she thought that he was also one of those people who were screaming like animals on seeing him. When Vipin felt her eyes on him, he started looking away. As soon as Vipin's eyes turned to the other side, he saw from the corner of his eye that a man came out of the crowd and was about to attack the lady officer with a knife. When all the policemen also saw that man, their expressions changed. But by then it was too late. That man attacked that lady officer with a knife. The lady officer had no expectation of this sudden attack on her, seeing which her face turned pale. Because usually such a violent incident did not happen while catching a call girl racket. But just as that man's knife was about to hit that lady officer, suddenly a shadow came at lightning speed and hugged him and removed him from there. The man's attack went in vain. Immediately the police came into action and caught the man. When the shadow suddenly caught her and moved her to the other side, the lady officer's legs faltered and she fell down, taking the shadow with her. As soon as the shadow and her eyes met, the lady officer kept staring at him for a moment. Because it was none other than Vipin. When he saw the man attack from the corner of his eye, he used his powers, which had increased a few days ago, and reached the lady officer with lightning speed. When Vipin was lying on top of the female officer, he could smell a mesmerizing scent from her body. Her body was very soft, like a soft pillow. But when Vipin saw the anger in her deep black shining eyes, he realized something and started to get up from her. But then he slipped and fell back on top of her, and his hands touched something soft. The female officer's eyes became big and round on seeing this. Burning embers of fire were coming out of her eyes at this time. When Vipin realized his mistake, he quickly stood up. At this time, his face had become as red as an apple. Sorry, I did all this by mistake. I had no wrong intention, he said fearfully. The female officer clenched her teeth tightly and started looking at Vipin as if she would kill him with her eyes. But as soon as Vipin looked at her again, she could not control her anger and shouted at him, "Shameless, dirty person!" Vipin felt that the female officer was misunderstanding him again. He had saved his life, and on top of that, instead of thanking him, she was calling him shameless and dirty. "Goodness is no longer around," Vipin said in a low voice, taking a deep breath. "Hurry up!" a policeman in front of the crowd shouted loudly. Then all of them were put in a police van, and Vipin was also in the same van with all of them. Then the police van left for the station. After a while, Vipin was sitting straight in an interrogation room. 2 police officers were sitting in front of him, one of whom was a beautiful female officer. The female officer's expression was very cold, and she was looking at Vipin as if she would kill him and feed him to dogs. "What is your name?" The male officer sitting next to the female officer asked. "Vipin," he replied. "How old are you? And where are you from?" the male officer asked further. "I am 20 years old and from Nagina village," Vipin replied. 20. Do you go to school?" the male officer asked again. "No, I left school 3 years ago and now work as a delivery boy," Vipin said. The male officer frowned upon hearing Vipin's answer and looked at him with disgust and said, "Oh, well, that's why. There is nothing big in this that you have started doing all this right now. By the way, do you admit your mistake, whatever you did today?" Vipin felt that the police officers were considering him guilty. How would he prove his innocence? There was an atmosphere of fear and uneasiness in his heart, but he knew that he had to keep calm and put forward his point at the right time.